When our spiritual life is superfluously abandoned, there's going to be a torrent of misunderstanding that permeates our consciousness. And we're going to be paralyzed with fear in some respect if this happens to us. Now, there are going to be two sets of people that are going to be arising, perhaps even three sets of people arising in these tumultuous times. The first is going to be the ones who are paralyzed with fear. The second are going to be the fervently righteous ones that are rising above with courage. And the third set are going to be those who are taking great pleasure, this perverted pleasure, in the destruction of human life and the destruction and the fabrication, and the deep fabrication, rather, of society. You see, the times that we are living in are going to make or break us. They say that the hard times create strong men, right? Everybody knows the cycle. In fact, in the Regal Change Academy, we talk about this cycle a lot, and this was brought up in our Bible study call last night. How weak men create hard times create strong men, and strong men create good times. Well, guess what? Strong men who are arising and stepping up to the plate ready for bat, you're up. You're up, man. It's time to get up off the bench and get out there and play some offense. This is no time to be squandering your life away. This is no time to be sitting by and waiting, just hoping for a prayer to be answered. This is not to say that we shouldn't pray or that we shouldn't be out there righteously moving or boldly moving in the ways in which God wants our confidence to be moving us. But it is also to say that to sit idly by and to wait for the tendency for waste to take over these times is not going to be preferable in the long run. We're going to have to do something about the times that we live in. And this is one of the reasons why I've created the Regal Change Academy group that we have in the online community and academy. I've created one-on-one mentorship programs, the Godlike Mastery Initiation Program. I've created these things because I know that facing these people head on is not going to be the way to do it. I know violence isn't the way to do it. And we all know that the situation that has occurred over the last day with Charlie Kirk has been a very trying time for many of us. We still don't exactly know the identification of the shooter either. And it is my time, 6:00 p.m., filming this. And I don't exactly know where to begin. I mean, in a way, I've already gone through so much that can be expanded upon, and yet I don't even feel as though I've said, or I even have the vocabulary to say what is needed to say right now. I don't think that the poverty-stricken ways in which we are living is going to be providing any beneficial fruit or good fruit for the society at large. You see, our virtue has been completely sidelined. We've put virtue on the bench, and we've asked iniquity to step up to the plate. And who's throwing the pitches? Well, the people that are wanting iniquity to win. Even though it looks like we're on different teams, anybody that's played baseball understands my referencing here. And I'm not really a baseball fan necessarily, but I feel as though this is the best metaphor to articulately describe what is going on. Iniquity has stepped up to the plate, and the people that want iniquity to win are seemingly on the other team, but they're the ones throwing the softballs so that iniquity can get its home run and actually start to come back around to home plate and just begin to beat the righteous on the bench. This is not the way that things are supposed to go in sports, nor is it the way that things are supposed to go in life, and yet this is what seems to be going on. I don't know if Charlie Kirk was a godly man. I'm not convinced of it. Now, when I say I'm not convinced of it, I mean exactly that. I don't know enough about the situation at large to have a clear, concise understanding of what exactly is happening, or what has happened, or who he is. I know that in the past, I've seen Charlie Kirk use racial slurs. I know in the past I've seen Charlie Kirk use these modes of being in which I'm not fully convinced that he's actually who he says he is. I'm not sure he actually worships Jesus Christ. I don't know if he's actually a follower of Jesus Christ, because he talks about how Mary is the solution. Okay, this is a question that was brought up in my comment section in my previous video. If he's preaching about how Mary is the solution and not Jesus Christ, then to toxic feminism, for example, I don't exactly know if that's conducive toward somebody that is aiming to. Now, I don't know the context, to be fair. Maybe there's more context there to be had. But it seems to me that that's a form of idolatry. And I am not the kind of person that is to celebrate death. I hope that anybody that is celebrating death at this time takes a good hard look at themselves and sees themselves for the repugnant and reprehensible people that they really are. They are disgraceful demons that ought to be shamed, and they ought to be put to shame. I don't think that shame in of itself is inherently a bad emotion. You see, shame is an indicator of whether or not you're spiritually aligned or not. And this shameless society in which people are rejoicing at the death of someone, I think is very, very ill. And it's very indicative of the true problems that are occurring and are proliferating in our society at large. There are so many indications of the tumultuous times that we're living in that I don't think that people recognize just how deep the rabbit hole goes. Okay, I believe that it could be absolutely possible that Charlie Kirk was a part of the deep state. Thugs kill thugs. Okay, now I'm not necessarily saying that Charlie Kirk was that. I'm just saying that this is a possibility. And it's something that I'm not looking to be convinced of anything just yet until we have all of the facts straight. I've looked at the video once more about what happened with Charlie Kirk, and I've discerned that there's something more there that meets the eye, and it doesn't really make sense that, the weapon that it seems to be a 30-06 that was shot. It doesn't seem to be the case that a weapon like that could produce the amount of blood that was produced from his throat, even if it was a main artery. Now, I'm not quite sure on that exactly, but it seems to me that based on my knowledge of guns and my knowledge of ammo and what that's like, I don't think that's really possible. It's very strange to me. It's also very strange that looking at the videos once more, I was trying to decide if maybe I'm seeing something, maybe I'm not seeing something. What exactly is this? Because there's two men behind Charlie Kirk, one with a hat and one next to him, who does the guy with the hat does a certain signal where he taps his hat and he taps his temple, it looks like. And then the other guy next to him immediately after does these hand signals. And then right after that, that's when Charlie Kirk gets shot and killed. And yes, the amount of blood that's there, anybody that saw that video knows that, yeah, he's definitely gone. There's no way that he would have been able to rush to the hospital if that's true, that was legitimate. Now, I'm not saying that. I want to be very mindful and careful with my semantics here, because it's clear to me that many people are not seeing the full picture. They are not seeing the full image of what happened. People are more concerned about the appearance than it is the image. An appearance is momentary. Okay, an image is more of a sense of timelessness. That's the way that I view the difference between appearance and image. And from the appearance, people are making a lot of judgments and assumptions, and there seems to be juxtapositions between the appearances of what happened and then the image of what happened, if you look at the full videos and such. Now, with all that being said as well, we have to recognize the gravity of the situation we are in. Conservatives think that they're smarter than they really are, and they make the liberals look like retards, so that, and not in the good way that, listening to your inner retard is actually really good, but they make the liberals look like retards so that the conservatives can appear to themselves more strong, more sophisticated, more logical than they really are. It gives this sense of superiority. And then on the flip side with the liberals, they're seen as the more compassionate or loving or gentle or caring or open party, right? Or open side of the aisle. It's not about sides of the aisle, okay? It's about turning virtue on of itself and completely dismantling the fabric of society. There's much more here to be looked at. There's much more here to be seen. And I think it is a great error for many of you who are making bold assumptions about exactly what's happening. And I don't think that it's really good for you to talk about the pews. Okay, I'm not going to say the word, but you guys know who I'm talking about. The pews, okay? That, it's the pews, okay? Where's the evidence on that? Who exactly has the righteous qualities to see that for sure? Okay, are you sure that this is you? Are you sure you're seeing this? Okay, now there's information coming out that it was a transgender, so to speak, one of the letter people. Hopefully I don't get flagged for that, but it's one of the letter people that did this. I don't think that that's the case. I think it could be a distraction. I think it could be, they're reporting this for a reason. Okay, and now the FBI are offering $100,000 for the search of this she-male, okay, that supposedly did this. I don't know, but the fact that we still don't know who the shooter exactly is, or we don't have the shooter in custody, to me smells like a little something that is a stalling tactic. Okay, it's a stalling tactic. This is what it seems like to me. But the majority of you that are on my channel, the majority of you do get it. And thank God for that. But for the few that are very confused and very vocal about your confusion and calling for calling for just the ridiculousness that you are calling for, and saying certain things that you haven't really thought through. You see, I am not emotional when it comes to this kind of stuff. I'm not. Because I see it and I'm not allowing my emotion. Of course, I have emotions about it, but I'm not letting my emotions about it dictate the way that I want to see the world. You see, a lot of people want to view Jesus some way, right? They want to view Jesus as hippie Jesus. It's not who Jesus is. So I want the truth. I want the truth. I'm a truth seeker. I don't want the fluff. Okay, I just want the truth. I don't care what that truth is. I just want the truth. And that's what I'm aiming to do, and that's what I'm aiming to provide to you guys. And with all that being said, I hope that this message was useful and insightful for you. Do not let the political theater maneuver you and paralyze you in fear. Okay? So with all that being said, peace. Until next time.